Hey everyone, welcome back to Champ Ventures. Today we're going to review our most recent cruise on Oasis of the Seas. We'll break down everything from the price we paid to everything offered on the ship, including the food we tried and the ports we visited.
Let's dive in.
So in terms of the price of the cruise, we paid about $2,800 for the boardwalk balcony, and we thought that was a great deal considering that it was an 8-night cruise. We visited 4 different ports, and that was for our entire family. So definitely a good value overall, considering all the activities on the ship and the food you get to eat, and also having daycare for the little one.
You loved it, huh?
All right, so now let's talk about the most important subject on everybody's mind, which is the food. So Oasis of the Seas has a ton of different complimentary dining options, as well as some good premium dining options, and we'll go through each of the ones we tried and give our review of that.
Okay, I will start off with talking to you about the main dining room. Once you get on the ship, you can select My 10 Dining. You can reserve a specific time that you'd like to have dinner with your family or your loved one, whoever's there with you. And they will then bring you to your seat, and you'll be able to put in appetizers, an entree, dessert, ask for coffee at the end if you'd like, and have a complete full dining experience every night if you want to, or you can go check out another specialty restaurant.
So the main dining room was personally our favorite choice because of the service actually over the food. So the waiters do an excellent job really taking care of everything you request, everything you need, and you really get to know them throughout the week, especially if you schedule your dinner at the same time every night. You end up working with the same staff, and they did such a great job for us. As you saw in one of the videos, they sang happy anniversary for us, and we had no idea that was happening. That was just a complete surprise. In terms of the food itself, it's pretty good. It really depends on what you're in the mood for. They did have different theme nights, like Mexican night and Caribbean night, for example. We did eat at Giovanni's, and we had 2 meals that were the same between the main dining room and Giovanni's, and we noticed that the main dining room quality wasn't as good. I don't know if that's just a thing with Royal Caribbean trying to push specialty restaurants, but that is one thing we noticed with the main dining room. But overall, the food quality is still decent. It was our favorite place to have dinner. One other important thing about the main dining room that I forgot to mention is, and I think this is on 7-night cruises or longer, there is a lobster night, and it's typically towards the end of the cruise where you get lobster tail for free. Now lobster tail is typically an add-on as well as like filet mignon for steak, so make sure that you attend the main dining room if you like lobster on that night.
Next up, the Windjammer. It is no secret. It was not one of our favorites. The second that you get in through the door, the place is packed. There's barely enough room for you to be able to get your plate and then go see what you want. But even after you finish getting your food, there's almost no place to sit.
Yeah, we've been on the Windjammer on Wonder of the Seas, and we did it on Oasis of the Seas, and we had a much better experience with it on Wonder of the Seas compared to this ship. It just felt like it was always crowded. There were a ton of food options that were never replenished or just weren't there. And it was just very hard to find a table, and it just seemed like they were never expecting the crowds. We came back from St. Thomas one day, and they said that they weren't expecting that this large of a crowd would come, and this was around the time that the ship was boarding. So I was pretty disappointed with the Windjammer. The Windjammer was definitely not our favorite choice. We did only go there for lunch, but we didn't have too many food choices. There were quite a few items that were not available that really never got replenished. It was always crowded in there, which is expected on a cruise, but it was very hard to find a table, and it just felt like it was understaffed, and staff weren't keeping up with the table after people left. So overall, it wasn't a great option. I would actually go to the main dining room for lunch or explore some of the other options that we're going to mention. Next up is the Solarium Bistro, which is right by the solarium of the ship. This is basically a mini Windjammer buffet. It's got about 50 seats there, and it's got a mini buffet, but it gets crowded very quickly. We only had the opportunity to try breakfast here, and the food options were good, but again, very crowded, very hard to find a seat. So if you want to go there, definitely go in the off hours. But the food itself was good. No complaints about the food. So I would recommend going there, especially if the Windjammer's packed or if you happen to be there and it's a more convenient location. Definitely go try it out. But like I said, in the off hours when it's not too crowded. What did you think?
I enjoy the quality of the food. I felt like there was everything that I wanted when we went there for breakfast. But yeah, it was a little mini Windjammer. It was just convenient for us for the timing that like we woke up and needed to get breakfast. But yeah, it's worth trying it out at least one day out of this 8-day cruise that you're doing. Next up is the Park Cafe. That was honestly one of our favorites, especially on port days. It is a grab and go place. And honestly, the service that we got there was really nice. We went there the first port, ordered our breakfast and our coffee, and then on the second time for the port day, the same person that had served us the day prior actually remembered our order and it was already ready for us. So the service was great, and honestly, when you gotta just get something and get off the ship, this was a really great option.
Yeah, to add off that, the Park Cafe is a great grab and go spot, especially on port days. And it's also a good grab and go spot at lunch. They have some really good ready to go sandwiches. The only bad thing I'd say about the Park Cafe, and while they have some great breakfast sandwiches, is they were never really completely hot. So you'll just have to ask them to cook it for a little bit extra longer. But yeah, for some reason they just never fully cooked our breakfast sandwiches. But it's still a great place to grab and go, especially right before you're starting off a port day.
They also do offer coffee if you're a coffee drinker. It's not the same as the promenade, but it does serve its purpose. There is coffee, and you can ask for it however you want it, either iced or hot, and they'll make it.
So across the ship, they have the Vitality Cafe, which is right outside the spa. This is a good secondary option, especially if you have the refreshment beverage package, because you can get smoothies included for free, but they also have a Starbucks coffee area. So if the Cafe Promenade or Central Park Cafe is busy, this is a good option, especially in the morning, to grab a drink or a smoothie and go.
Next up is the Cafe Promenade, which is our favorite grab and go place. We were there almost every single day. My favorite thing to ask for was a caramel macchiato. And what was yours?
Mine was the caramel latte, and when I tell you they make good coffee, well, first off, they use the Starbucks coffee to make it, but they make it even better than the Starbucks stand in the middle of the promenade itself. It's very fresh, and it was a great experience. And they have some great grab and go sandwich options as well, different pastries, fruit cups. So yeah, it was by far our favorite grab and go place, with Central Park Cafe in second.
You have Powerade, Gatorade, juices. They have everything there. It's a great grab and go if you just want to get hydrated or just put a little something in your stomach after a long day, or even if you just want to grab something sweet with your coffee.
Yeah, and it's a good place if you want to just sit down and chill after a long port day or a busy sea day as well. You're right in the middle of the promenade, so you can just grab a coffee and take a seat and just people watch in the promenade.
And right across from our favorite Cafe Promenade, there is a little pizza joint, Sorrento's Pizza. Everyone needs to get a slice as soon as they get on board.
Yeah, that's our cruise tradition, as you saw in our boarding video. Yeah, Sorrento's is just a great place to quickly grab a slice of pizza or a quick bite to eat. That's why we love doing it when we first get on the cruise ship, and we also like to do it sometimes right before we go back to our room to sleep for the night. The only thing I didn't like about Sorrento's is they typically have cheese and pepperoni always serving, and then there's a third flavor that they rotate. Sometimes they do veggie, sometimes they'll do margarita, but I just wish that they had a little bit more variety when it comes to the pizza and it wasn't just cheese and pepperoni. But yeah, it's still a great pizza spot. Is it the best pizza at sea? I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that, but it is a good pizza spot. Solid option for grab and go.
Next up is the Boardwalk Doghouse. And for us, honestly, it was just when everything else fails and all the places are closed and you're hungry, we decided to go there and just grab a sausage to be able to eat. They also have hot dogs. There's toppings they can put on it. I did actually like their potato salad that they put on the side. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's if all else fails and you can't find food anywhere else or you just don't want to wait in line to eat, this is your place to go just to grab a quick bite to eat. That's what happened to us on the first day. We accidentally went to the Windjammer when it closed and Central Park Cafe was packed, so the boardwalk doghouse always comes to the rescue, especially if you're just desperately hungry and you need to eat something. But yeah, it's good. Could be better though. And while we are at the boardwalk, we'll talk about Johnny Rockets. So lunch is a premium cost, but breakfast is free. We didn't try lunch this time, but the breakfast itself is great. If you can get up in the morning and get there before 8 a.m., you'll find a nice spot to have breakfast. They had different scrambled egg and omelet options, and they also had a breakfast belt sandwich that I loved. It's basically bacon, egg, lettuce, and tomato. So it's a great breakfast spot to start in the morning, and I like the sit down experience they have there as well. So yeah, Johnny Rockets is a great place to eat.
I enjoyed it. Luke enjoyed it. And next up is El Loco Fresh. It is a regular Mexican restaurant. You got your tacos, you got your burritos, just the typical Mexican style food with the toppings on the side. They did change up how it's served on Wonder of the Seas versus Oasis of the Seas. I personally preferred Wonder because of the way that it just had a nice flow when you would come in and grab your food and then put your toppings on it. And there didn't seem like it got crowded. On Oasis, I was a bit confused when I got there. It was like a little tiny area where you would go to get your taco and the meats and put on it. There was almost like there was two stations, but you weren't sure which one was the one that you would line up for. So there was just small crowds of people that you had to like squeeze in with. I just wasn't a vibe with that.
Yeah, I love the concept of it where you can basically grab your base of a taco or burrito and you have a whole topping station where you can really put as many toppings as you want, from sour cream to salsa, lettuce, cheese, you name it. But the ingredients, the quality wasn't that great. We still went in there a few times, got a quesadilla and a burrito, but yeah, it could be better. The other thing is you want to try and go at the off hours. If you go around lunchtime between like 12 and 2, it's completely bottlenecked and backed up. If you go pretty much from like 3 and on, you'll be able to grab and go and get something good there. It is a good option though when you do get back from the port. If you head right up over there, it shouldn't be too crowded. The last free but not well known option that we tried is the room service continental breakfast. So for all the other room service, you basically pay like a flat fee for lunch or if you want a premium breakfast with eggs, but you can actually get the continental breakfast for free. So that includes different fruits, bagels, pastries, and coffee. So if you are like us where we really can't function until we wake up and have coffee, it's great to have them come to your room early in the morning. So you just basically fill out the pamphlet on the door and they'll show up at whatever time you request. It was also a good way for us to get out of bed in the morning at a specific time. Obviously, when you're on vacation, you're not running on an alarm clock. So yeah, it's a great option, not well known, and it's free.
Then we also have Giovanni's that we tried. We went there on our wedding anniversary day, and I would have to say it was a really special experience.
Yeah, Giovanni's is 100% worth the price. It is a premium restaurant, but you can get a good deal on it if you order through the app prior to cruising. I think we got it for $37 per person. You do have to pay the gratuity on that as well, but the quality of the food is superb. And as you saw in the previous video, the everything from the appetizers to the dessert was just absolutely delicious, and the steak and seafood as well. And the environment itself is really nice. It's a really nice Italian style restaurant. And we got a good deal on a bottle of wine too. I think we paid like $40 for a bottle of wine between the both of us. So it was just a really nice, fancy, bougie dinner, and it was definitely worth the add on. So we haven't tried Chops or 150 Central Park yet, but Giovanni's was great.
Now the question is, would you go there again?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I would absolutely go there
Same
again.
here.
Maybe we will. So next up, we're going to talk about the state and the condition of the ship itself. So Oasis was originally built and started sailing in 2009. Obviously, it's 2025 now, so it's been sailing for 16 years. It did get a huge revamp or amplification, as they call it, in 2019, where they changed out a ton of things. It was about at least $100 million expenditure. So 16 years later, the condition of the ship is still great. Everything that we ran into in the ship was functional. Starting with the stateroom, we really didn't have any issues. Everything was working properly. It didn't look like anything was broken down or torn apart. The beds were still in pretty decent shape as well. And then just moving on to the rest of the ship, everything was functional in terms of all the activities that they offered, and slides and pools. There wasn't any visible rust or anything like that. So Royal Caribbean really does a good job maintaining its ships, and it really felt like the ship was almost still brand new and in great shape. So is Oasis of the Seas a great ship to sail on 2025? Absolutely.
We think it honestly provides the best value. There's really nothing on the ship that's out of order. Aside from maybe the bionic bar, which that has its little, you know, glitches here and there, but it was fun to just watch it make your own drink.
Yeah, the bionic bar is honestly a waste of space, and I think Royal Caribbean's recognizing that, because in all their amplifications and new ships that they're doing, they're replacing it with another bar. So the bionic bar isn't good on any ship, in other words. But yes, the condition of the ship and the state of the ship is great, and it was a great experience.
Okay, so on Oasis of the Seas, there are plenty of activities to do as a family or even just by yourself. Obviously, we're here on the ship, young into creating our family, so we did explore mostly the splash pad, but there is a lot more activities to do on the ship that we would love to explore on our future cruises.
Yeah, there's so much to do on this ship. It's insane. There's 18 decks, 7 neighborhoods, 11 bars and lounges, 4 pools, and 10 hot tubs. I mean, there's so many different activities to do throughout the day, from flow rider to rock climbing to being in the pool to playing in the basketball court. There's tons of stuff to do in the promenade. The casino is huge. This is the ship that started it all. I mean, this is the one that had the first Central Park, the first boardwalk with an aqua theater in the back. So there's just so many things to do at all different times of the day, and that was really good for us because as on any cruise ship during the day, the pool deck gets very packed, and it was really busy, and people are reserving chairs very early, around 9 or 10 a.m. So it was nice to have other areas to go while it was busy, and then you can go back to the pool deck later on in the afternoon around like 2 or 3 o'clock. So it was nice that there's just so many different things to do throughout the day, and Royal Caribbean does a great job at moving people around the ship, so it doesn't feel like everybody's just bottlenecked in one area. They're really good at timing and moving people around to different areas of the ship at different times of the day.
That is one thing that we picked up on early on those sea days. So next time around, we will probably try to book daycare around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, where people are kind of hungry, they're leaving the pool area or leaving the solarium. That way we can kind of enjoy it where it's less crowded. Um, but yes, there is a ton of activities to do. One tip that we would probably suggest you do is go on the app, see what shows, what type of activities they're offering on the ship. That way you can go to these different places and be able to participate in everything that you want to, because there's just so much, and you still, I feel like, leave every ship feeling like you wish you did more, and then that's why you just book another one.
Yeah, even for an eight night cruise, we still felt like there was more we could have did on the ship, and we had 4 different sea days as well. But just jumping back to what she said about the app, it's also a great planning tool as well. You can see all the activities that are happening in chronological order throughout the day, add all those activities to your planner, and then they'll set reminders. So it's nice. You can, if you're a planner like us, you can really schedule out your whole day and set up backup plans in case things don't go as planned, especially when you have a child. So yes, there is so much to do on Oasis of the Seas, and that's really where the value is added in, on this vacation. The last major topic we wanted to talk about was the entertainment, and when it comes to entertainment with Royal Caribbean, they truly never disappoint. I mean, you've got so many different options in the nighttime. You've got your aqua theater show, you've got your ice skating show, you've got your Broadway shows like One Sky, you've got stand-up comedy, they've got a silent disco in the nighttime, and then they also have the best game shows where you get to participate, like the Love and Marriage game show and the Crazy Quest show. So there's just so much to do for entertainment, and we had a great experience with all the shows that we attended, as you saw in our previous videos. So there's just endless activities and entertainment in the nighttime as well.
If you do want a really good laugh, Love and Marriage and The Crazy Quest was definitely my favorite. Highly recommend you check it out. Even if you just stop in there to just take a peek, there's no doubt you're probably going to hang around longer than you expected to.
Yes, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that they also have parties in the promenade in the nighttime. So they had the Latin dance show. They also, on the first night, which is our favorite, is the midnight balloon drop, where they just drop balloons from the ceiling in the night, at midnight, like it's a New Year's party or something like that. But yes, there's just, Royal Caribbean knows how to have a good time in the nighttime.
It is so hard on day one with all the excitement of embarkation day and just being overly stimulated by checking out everything there is to check out on the ship, to stay up until midnight to see the balloon drop.
Yes.
But honestly, it was worth it. I have to admit that on Wonder, I was tired. I did not participate in it. And now doing this on Oasis, I really wish I had stayed up. So moving forward, I think I will probably drink some coffee to make sure I'm up for the ball drop.
That's what Cafe Promenade's for. So just to give a rundown of the itinerary that we had on this cruise, there was 4 ports that we went to. We went to St. Kitts, St. Martin, St. Thomas, and then ended it with Coco Cay. On St. Kitts, we did the Carambola Beach excursion with Royal Caribbean. It was a great experience, but it was too short. On the way back from Carambola Beach, we went to Timothy Hill, where we got to see the Atlantic and the Caribbean waters meet. But yeah, it was St. Kitts was a great experience. We would definitely go back. St. Martin, we went to Mullet Bay Beach, and that was our favorite beach on the whole trip. We really enjoyed St. Martin. It's a huge place. The only caveat was that it took almost an hour to get there, and there is a lot of traffic, but it's a large, beautiful island. And we felt like the tour guides and the way everything was run there logistically, they just did a really good job compared to some of the other places we'll talk about, like St. Thomas. St. Thomas wasn't the greatest experience. We didn't do an excursion through Royal. We ended up setting up our own plan where we were going to take a taxi and go to Emerald Beach. We did some research on that, and we heard some good things about it. Unfortunately, the taxi area was a mess, and the ship actually goes to the secondary port, which is Crown Bay. It's not the one that's in the middle of town where there's everything to do. But yeah, the taxi area was just a mess. We got put on 2 or 3 different taxis before they finally picked one to drive us 15 minutes to Emerald Beach. And Emerald Beach was extremely underwhelming. It's a small beach. It was really rocky sand, and the area where they had chairs and loungers to rent was just in terrible condition. And they had everybody on top of each other, and it honestly wasn't really friendly for if you're bringing a child with you or bringing a carriage. So we ended up just going back to the ship after a short day, but we wanna give another chance to St. Thomas and go back and have a do over.
So if you have any recommendations on what we should do next time we go to St. Thomas, leave it down in the comments and we will check it out.
All right, and last off is Coco Cay, and you really can't go wrong with Coco Cay. That's why they call it Perfect Day Coco Cay. That's Royal Caribbean's private island where pretty much everything is included except the drinks. But if you do have the drink package, that works on the island as well. But there's just so many different beaches to go to. All the loungers at the beach are included in your fare. This time we decided to go premium and went to the Cocoa Beach Club, and it was just an incredible experience. It is pricey. We only went because we found a good deal on it. Would not pay full price for it, but the food options were delicious. They had an infinity pool. The environment was very calm and quiet. It didn't feel like it was too crowded, and it was just an upgraded level of experience compared to the other areas of Coco Cay.
I have to say, I would love to go back there, especially on like maybe the warmer months, like May going into like the summer. Only because I am a beach girl, and because we went in February, it was really windy, and so it was cold when we were at the beach. But thankfully, with their infinity pool being heated, we still had an awesome time while we were at the private beach club. I would love to do it again if I can. But also, there's just so much to explore when you go to Coco Cay. There's so many things to do, so many places to go to, and so it's worth going again. Let us know down below what's your favorite thing to do at Coco Cay.
Yeah, there's just so many things to do at Coco Cay. You can go there over and over again. It would take a long time to really get sick of it. All right, so the major question here is Oasis of the Seas still a great cruise ship to sail on in 2025? And our answer is yes, it absolutely is. So is it the greatest ship in the fleet? No. It's obviously you have ships like Icon and Star of the Seas coming up that are going to offer even more, but you still get all the benefits, entertainment, and food options that you get in an Oasis class ship. So there's just so much to do on sea days, so much to do on port days, and it's nice, especially when the pool deck is busy, that you have other areas to go through throughout the day, and you just have endless options to keep you entertained.
Obviously, with this being an older ship, your stateroom is going to have that older feeling for it. Like, you're not going to have your charging station right next to your bed. It's going to be over by the desk, but that's okay. The bed still sleeps comfortably, still holds everything you need. It has your shower, it has your bathroom, everything that you need is pretty much there. And honestly, you're barely ever in your room unless you're just getting changed or sleeping.
Overall, we do love Oasis of the Seas. We think it's a great ship, and it provides an incredible value for the price you pay. And we would highly recommend that you try out Oasis of the Seas if you haven't been on it.
I mean, it is a ship, and so everyone is stuck on the ship. There are going to be moments where it's going to be crowded. One thing we try to avoid is not cruising when it's vacation week for schools, because then it's going to be extra crowded, especially with children running around of all ages. And so right now we're going to just take the advantage that our little one is very little, and we're going to cruise on timings where it's not school vacation week.
All right, well, this wraps up our review of Oasis of the Seas. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you found some value in it, give us a like and subscribe to the Champ Ventures channel. We've got a lot of stuff coming up very soon.
And you'll get to see how we cruise and how we vacation with a toddler.